Hello, fourth graders. This is Miss K, and we are on lesson 2 of Unit 6. We're going to talk about discovering a theme today. So before I start with the other vocab, a theme is a key subject or idea, and it's usually repeated throughout the text. So we're going to think about what ideas that are going to be brought up over and over and over again throughout this book we're reading. So the first vocab word is a noun. Aspiration is the hope of achieving something. So an aspiration is like a dream you have. Baptize is a verb, and that is a Christian ceremony through which people are named. Chandelier is a noun, and that is it's usually a fancy lamp that hangs from the ceiling. Chinese year of the horse. That is an idiom, which means that it is a figurative language. It's not literal. It means that it's talking about how the Chinese have a 12-year cycle and every year is named after an animal. Fancy is an adjective that means nice, probably expensive. Records is a noun, and those are flat discs that store music and can be played aloud. So it's like a CD, but it's even older than that. It's a big flat disc and it plays music. Sobbing is an adjective, and that means crying a lot. And then character are the qualities and personality of someone in the book, and we already talked about theme, a key subject or idea repeated in a text. So vignette 1, we read this yesterday. If you missed it, go back to yesterday's assignment. Actually, you know what? We're going to reread it because they're talking about it again today. All right. We didn't always live on Mango Street. Before that, we lived on Loomis on the 3rd floor, and before that, we lived on Keeler. Before Keeler, it was Paulina, and before that, I can't remember. But what I remember most is moving a lot. Each time it seemed there'd be one more of us. By the time we got to Mango Street, we were 6. Mama, Papa, Carlos, Kiki, my sister Nenny, and me. The house on Mango Street is ours, and we don't have to pay rent to anybody, or share the yard with the people downstairs, or be careful not to make too much noise. And there isn't a landlord banging on the ceiling with a broom. But even so, it's not the house we thought we'd get. We had to leave the flat on Loomis quick. The water pipes broke and the landlord wouldn't fix them because the house was too old. We had to leave fast. We were using the washroom next door and carrying water over in empty milk gallons. That's why Mama and Papa looked for a house, and that's why we moved into the house on Mango Street, far away on the other side of town. They always told us that one day we would move into a house, a real house, that would be ours for always, so we wouldn't have to move each year. And our house would have running water and pipes that worked. And inside it would have real stairs, not hallway stairs, but stairs inside like the houses on TV. And we'd have a basement and at least 3 washrooms, so when we took a bath, we wouldn't have to tell everybody. Our house would be white with trees around it, a great big yard and grass growing without a fence. This was the house Papa talked about when he held a lottery ticket. And this was the house Mama dreamed up in the stories she told us before we went to bed. But the house on Mango Street is not the way they told it at all. It's small and red with tight steps in front and windows so small you'd think they were holding their breath. Bricks are crumbling in places, and the front door is so swollen you have to push hard to get in. There is no front yard, only 4 little elms the city planted by the curb. Out back is a small garage for the car we don't own yet, and a small yard that looks smaller between the 2 buildings on either side. There are stairs in our house, but they're ordinary hallway stairs, and the house only has 1 washroom. Everybody has to share a bedroom. Mama and Papa, Carlos and Kiki, me and Nenny. Once, when we were living on Loomis, a nun from my school passed by and saw me playing out front. The laundromat downstairs had been boarded up because it had been robbed 2 days before, and the owner had painted on the wood, "Yes, we're open," so as not to lose business. "Where do you live?" she asked. "There," I said, pointing up to the 3rd floor. "You live there?" There. I had to look to where she pointed, the 3rd floor. The paint peeling, wooden bars Papa had nailed on the windows so we wouldn't fall out. "You live there?" The way she said it made me feel like nothing. There, I lived there, I nodded. I knew then I had to have a house, a real house, one I could point to. But this isn't it. The house on Mango Street isn't it. For the time being, Mama says. Temporary, Papa says. But I know how those things go. All right, so I want you to think back. What was the focus of our previous lesson? We talked a lot about those details. We drew a picture, pulling out details about what that Mango Street house looks like. So in your own words, talk about what we talked about last lesson. Number 2, what is an inference? We talked in the last lesson about how when you make an inference, you're taking details from the text and you're coming up with something new. So read these responses and see which one matches the definition for inference. Number 3, think about how the narrator feels about the Mango Street house and choose the word that best fits. So go back and reread that description about the Mango Street house. How do you think she feels about it? And then you're going to find some evidence that supports whatever you chose here. So if you think she feels proud, give me evidence that shows that she feels that way. And now think about the imagined house, so the dream house, the one that she hopes to have. Choose the word that best fits how she feels, and then find evidence in the text to support it. And then same thing with the Loomis Street flat. Choose the word that fits, and then find some evidence to support it. All right, let's head over to skills. We're going to read vignette 2 today. So it's called My Name. And there's a picture of our narrator. In English, my name means hope. In Spanish, it means too many letters. It means sadness. It means waiting. It is like the number 9, a muddy color. It is the Mexican records my father plays on Sunday mornings when he is shaving. Songs like Sobbing. It was my great-grandmother's name, and now it is mine. She was a horsewoman, too, born like me in the Chinese year of the horse, which is supposed to be bad luck if you're born female. But I think this is a Chinese lie, because the Chinese, like the Mexicans, don't like their women strong. My great-grandmother, I would have liked to have known her, a wild horse of a woman, so wild she wouldn't marry, until my great-grandfather threw a sack over her head and carried her off, just like that, as if she were a fancy chandelier. That's the way he did it. And the story goes she never forgave him. She looked out the window her whole life, the way so many women sit their sadness on an elbow. I wonder if she made the best with what she got, or was she sorry because she couldn't be all the things she wanted to be? Esperanza. I have inherited her name, but I don't want to inherit her place by the window. At school, they say my name funny, as if the syllables were made out of tin and hurt the roof of your mouth. But in Spanish, my name is made of a softer something, like silver, not quite as thick as my sister's name, Magdalena, which is uglier than mine. Magdalena, who at least could come home and become Nenny, but I am always Esperanza. I would like to baptize myself under a new name, a name more like the real me, the one nobody sees. Esperanza as Lysandra or Maritza or Zizi the X. Yes, something like Zizi the X will do. Okay, so the directions say go back in the text and find words or phrases that describe how the narrator feels about her name. So you're going to find a positive quote about her name, something good, a negative quote, something that she doesn't like, and then a neutral quote. That means it's not positive, it's not negative, it's just a sentence, it's just a detail. All right, you're going to go back to paragraphs 2, 3, and 4. I'll show you where those are. So we've got 2, 3, and 4. So 2, 3, and 4. So in these 3 paragraphs here, what is she describing? You're going to write the answer there. What is she talking about in those paragraphs? Number 5, did her great-grandmother have a happy life or a sad life? And then find evidence that supports it. So happy or sad, and this is what supports it. This tells us this is why she had a happy life. This is why she had a sad life. Does Esperanza want the same life as her grandma? Yes or no? And then find evidence to support this. So you're telling me, what did she say that told you that she wanted the same life? Or what did she say that told you that she didn't want the same life? Number 9, what name would Esperanza like to be called? In the very end of the vignette, she talks about the names that she would like to be called. How would she feel if she was called that? So give me a feeling if people started to call her that name. And number 11, do you think the imagined house will exist in the future? Definitely, definitely not, or are we not sure, but the narrator hopes so. All right, that is all for today. Make sure you go back into those 2 vignettes to find your answers and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, 4th grade.